call this meeting to order. This is Village of Holly Zoning Board of Appeals, August 2nd, 2021. Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Rebar, McGaw, Campbell,
Here.
Hutchins,
Here.
Delaney,
Here.
Murphy,
Here.
Pachoa.
Here.
Would somebody like to make a motion to excuse
Rebar.
Rebar? Has anybody heard from McGaw?
I saw him earlier, he didn't say anything.
That's unusual for him, so.
Yeah, it really is.
I'll second. For the Nancy, anyway.
Who made the motion?
No one did.
Oh, I thought you did. I'm sorry. I'll make a motion to excuse Nancy.
I'll second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Approval of the minutes from April 5th, 2021.
Any changes?
I didn't have any.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented to the April 15th, 5th meeting of 2021.
I'll second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Approval of the agenda. Is there any additions or deletions from the agenda as submitted?
Got nothing.
Would somebody like to make a motion on that?
Yes. Yes,
You have to make the whole motion.
Yeah, you have to do
Okay.
sorry.
I move to,
Me?
yeah.
I agree, approve. I'm new at this, guys.
I move to approve the motion, or the agenda as presented.
Oh, is that what we're,
Yep,
So you
there you
said-
go.
Yep.
Yeah.
sorry. Roberta Pachoda, Holly, Michigan.
No, what he's trying to say is,
You,
So hold on, guys. Roberta has a little difficulty
Lost
with hearing,
here.
okay? And this is her
Oh.
first meeting as well. So,
Yeah.
Weren't we supposed to do that first?
well, that's only for virtual,
Okay.
Ms. Pachoda. So what they're asking is for you to
My
make a
first
motion.
in-person meeting, guys, I'm
No,
kinda
and that-
lost.
That's okay. We'll walk you through it, Ms. Pachoda.
yeah,
So maybe one of you guys can make the motion and then she can learn as we move forward.
sure. I'll move to approve
Go ahead.
the agenda as presented.
Agree?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Public comment. Is there any public comment?
They are really quiet tonight.
Somebody wake them up.
Right?
Hearing none, let's move on to the public hearing. I need a motion to go into a public hearing for case number 2021-003. Somebody want to make a motion on that?
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing for the application of a variance for the off-premise sign located at parcel number 1H-01-34-310-014 South Broad Street in the Village of Holly, or by the Village Tower, Water Tower.
I'll second.
Oh, do we have to have a voice vote on a public hearing?
Yes, please.
Voice vote.
Hutchins,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Delaney,
Yes.
Murphy,
Yes.
Pachoa.
Yes.
So we're ready for hearing the case, right?
Okay. Has the village heard any pros and cons, received any things from people around that area?
We have not, we just
I
had
have-
three received back, that they were undeliverable, so other than that, we have not received anything else.
Would you like to present our,
Yes, I can. It's been ages. The application that is in front of you tonight, what they're proposing is to have an off-premise sign. And so by definition, off-premise means you're advertising something that's not physically located on the site. Looking at the material that was included in your packet, so behind me is that board that shows where the existing billboard is and then where we propose to move it to. So I believe it's over here's the billboard across the railroad, and we want to bring it across the railroad to the south near the water tower property. That's what's going on. So with that, if you want to follow along, there was that variance checklist that I provided. And so the variance again that they're asking for is to put an off-premise sign, relocate it onto this specific property. Again, it's a relocation. Something that's as part of our specific request, the billboard is 30 feet in height, 24 in width, 14 in length, and a total square footage of 288 square feet. The property is located in the CBD, or Central Business District. And then we're going to go into the approval standards. So as a friendly reminder to everyone, the approval standards are 1 through 4. And so you have to find all of those findings in support to consider an approval, as opposed to you only need to specifically state 1 for a denial. So quickly going through our standards, Standard 1 talks about failing to grant a variance would result in substantially more than an inability to obtain a higher financial return. In support, the applicant is looking to move the subject sign adjacent, so across the railroad tracks, to be reclocated near the train depot building. The sign is existing and is not proposing any structural changes associated. They're not proposing to make it larger or anything of that nature. Number 2 talks about the unique circumstances or condition applicable to the property that does not exist as a general condition in the village as a whole. So in support, the location adjacent to the railroad tracks specifically is unique. Again, going from the railroads do go through the property, but essentially we're going on the other side. In opposition, it doesn't appear there's any existing unique components otherwise to the property. So number 3 talks about the granting of the variance will not alter the essential character of the surrounding area, not increase a nuisance or anything of that nature. So in support, granting this variance would not appear to increase any fire or public safety concern. The proposed location wouldn't appear to hinder any sight lines or anything obscuring a view where we'd have that concern. The subject property is near several other municipal buildings, including that railroad track, which it wouldn't appear would, by changing it across the road, would essentially change the character of that area. The last standard, number 4, talks about the granting of this variance would not contradict the public purpose or general intent of this specific chapter. So in support, the applicant is proposing a relatively small change in by moving the existing billboard to the south. The intent behind, again, off-premise signage, if we were to allow that everywhere overall in the village, we don't want to have sign clutter where somebody can be advertising 2 miles down the road, go 2 miles, go 2 miles. We would have a very cluttered situation. And so that's the intent by it. So relocating it across doesn't appear would dramatically impact, again, that sign clutter concern. In opposition, the intent is to not have directly off-premise signs, in which it can disrupt sometimes the character. But again, it goes back to, do you think it disrupts the character of that surrounding area? So with that, on that page 2, I do have some different sample motions. Again, we provide an approval as well as a denial, and you can always postpone a decision as well. Are there any questions for me?
Any discussion?
I do have a small question. If we approve this for the village, because obviously it's the village, does that then set us up to a problem? Say Coleman's wants to throw one across the street. Does that then open us up to someone's going to be felt like they were, I don't know, we
Special,
prejudiced against
sure.
them? Yeah, so
Yep.
that's the right word.
Right,
was.
and that's a very good point,
Right.
in which we don't want to set a precedence is the other term that'll be used, in which we just have a domino effect where everyone gets to use it. And that's where we're doing a really good job in focusing in on those standards. So what makes this specifically unique? So making sure we go through that and say, well, it is unique because, again, it's across the railroad tracks, those different components that make this unique, in which we're not opening up everybody whimsically, because we're like,
What is, I have a question. What is primarily gonna be on the billboard? I forget what's even on. I went specifically and drove by it like 3 times today so I could look at
Normally
it.
you
Pulled in the
see-
parking lot, looked at it, I'm like, I can't even remember what's on it. And
Creative,
what will it
Creative
be.
Smiles uses it quite a bit.
Okay, so
but
it's
it's
like,
a-
so you rent it for
Adams,
money
I believe
for
Adams
the,
is the,
for the village or whatever?
No, Adams is privately owned sign that
Oh.
Adams will,
Okay, so it's a privately owned sign.
And they do a lot of PSA type announcements, public service announcements. Anytime that they don't have a paid advertiser like Creative Smiles,
Okay.
then they run ads for the Drug Council or for other public service announcement type
Or, you know,
news.
maybe we could talk them into relocate the depot.
Well, that's
Oh,
that's
point
part
of
of that's
moving
part
the depot, you know?
that's part of the reason. for a
No,
move.
you know, it's a sign, so, you know, help us out. All right, I just want to know what's up for.
I think
That makes sense, no?
the last off-premise sign we okayed was for the VFW on Saginaw Street.
I believe that's correct.
And
yes.
before that, it was the body shop,
Johnny's.
Johnny,
yeah,
anything else?
down there, and it was, I can't remember, because it was 2 other body shops there before. That was allowed. So, you know, it was unique because nobody could find it. So, yeah,
Right.
that's the biggest thing, is it's gotta meet the criteria, the uniqueness, 'cause
That's right. We're not just saying we approve it, we're saying why we're approving it. And so having those particulars help narrow down the situation. So it's not just opening it up.
Okay.
like the old, many years ago, Burma Shave commercials used to be alongside turnpikes and
Oh,
expressways.
yeah, it'd be a
Oh,
thousand
really?
before you actually
Signs
saw
about
it.
every, I don't know, 200 yards.
Oh, there's a lot of places that do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially down south.
Yeah, Illinois. I remember when I was a kid, it said, he struck a match to check his tank, that's why they call him Skinless Frank, Burma Shave. It was about 5 or 6 signs. Yes,
Almost there.
Yeah.
Almost one more mile.
yeah.
I have one more question. If it wasn't approved, what happens then? I mean, then the depot can't move and signs, they get to
I
keep
can
the sign when they
understand.
want it, so then we're, you know, then that's like a real problem at some point in the future then, correct?
Right, so,
Okay. I
if
just
you-
wanna know where we're all at.
right, so if you can't move the sign, then you can't move the sign. So I don't know if that's essentially, or
You know, or the,
you
know,
either
they-
have to keep it exactly as is or, approve the variance specifically.
Any further questions? Any further discussion? I entertain a motion to go out of public hearing.
Second.
No,
Oh. I'll make a motion to go out of public hearing.
I'll second that.
roll call, please.
Hutchins,
Yes.
Campbell,
yes,
Delaney,
Yes.
Murphy,
Yes.
Pachota.
Yes.
Usually, just for a little education for the newbies, usually the chairperson of any board or commission does not make motions, they
Right.
entertain motions. So that's why I'm just sitting here directing traffic, that's, yeah.
that's what you're
So
supposed
that's
to
why, that's the point of a parliamentary rule.
Yeah.
Yeah, that way there's no hanky-panky going on. So anyhow, we are at a public hearing. That was our general, oh, let's go to general business. The application for variance allows outside premise sign to relocate parcel number IH 0134310014 South Broad Street by the Village Water Tower. Does anybody want to make a motion to either to accept or deny?
I might have
Oh.
a few comments
Oh,
at some point.
That would be amazing. Do that first.
when you want to make your comments?
Well,
I was,
I would presume before you vote,
Oh, okay.
you know, it's up to you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jerry Walker, I'm the village manager for the Village of Holly, 300 East Street, Holly, Michigan. And so just listening to some of the comments by the commissioners during the public hearing, just to answer Commissioner Campbell's question about what happens to the depot if the sign is not relocated, then the depot cannot be moved to its proposed location, which is right smack in the middle of that billboard. The importance of having the depot in that particular location is right now, the depot is a registered site with the National Registry for Historic Places,
Right.
buildings.
Okay.
And so, working with Ron Campbell, the historic architect from Oakland County Planning, he did some research and got tentative approval that if the depot were relocated to a site which he had done the site plan for in the architectural work, which is where the billboard is, then the depot could remain on the register. If the depot is not moved to that location, then it will not be on the register. I mean, to Holly, I think it's a big deal to have it on the National Historic Register. Now, to Ms. Hobbins' point, that you can't just move it just because it's a good thing for Holly. It has to meet the standards. I think, as you look at her checklist, I think it does meet the
I
standards
think-
personally.
Yeah.
And so from the village's standpoint, you know what, we think that it is not increasing the number of signage
No.
of that type within the village. We already have this one particular sign. The fact is, it's just gonna move to the north, or to the
Right.
south. The other thing is that when it's relocated, the billboard company is not going to just pick that particular sign up and move it to the location, because if you've been by it, it's very aged and decrepit and kind of shabby looking. They will put a brand-new sign up. And the sign will not be larger than the one that's there, but it will be as large. And so it's going to, that site, we think from the train depot relocation committee, that it's actually gonna be in a little less conspicuous site than where it is right now in the middle of an open field, close to the park and a parking lot. So we think it's in a less conspicuous area. So for those reasons, I mean, the Depot Relocation Committee, Mr. Campbell from Oakland County Planning, they've all put a lot of work and research into this. As we met with the folks at Adams Advertising, who owns the billboard, they want to do their part as far as assisting us in the historic preservation aspect of it. And while they probably could have been justified in charging us a fee for moving their sign, they're going to do all the work and pay for everything themselves. So there is no financial contribution coming from the relocation effort, which from the relocation effort we're thankful for, because raising the funds to move the depot is a huge project in and of itself. Going to be close to $2 million, just under $2 million by the time we're done. And so it's a momentous project. And so again, I think from our perspective, if you look at the requirements and the standards that need to be met, we think they are met, and we would just ask for your favorable consideration.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion.
Has everybody had a chance to read part of the criteria, and understand the criteria for the new folks on board? And we also have, on page 2 of 2, the simple motion to approve and a simple motion to deny.
I'm ready to do it.
Any other questions?
Want me to make the motion?
No, I'll do it.
No questions?
I got pretty good at this the last time I tried it.
Okay, there are no questions, go
So I
ahead.
take a couple breaths though, I might get out of breath. I used to smoke for a long time. All right, I would like to make a motion to approve the off-premise sign requested variance located on South Broad Street, also known as 01-34-310-014, based on the following findings of fact. It complies with Standard 1 based on failing to grant the variance would result in more than an inability to attain a higher financial return. It complies with Standard 2 based on the proposed variance has unique circumstances. It complies.
second it.
It complies with Standard 3 based on the proposed variance would not alter the essential character of the area and not create a hazard or public nuisance, since it's just moving a little ways. And it complies with Standard 4 based on the proposed variance would not be contrary to public purpose or general intent of the zoning ordinance.
I second it.
Whoever.
Yeah, whoever.
It's a roll call.
Pick someone.
And now we have a roll call.
Kachoga,
Yes, I agree.
Campbell,
Yes.
Hutchins,
Yes,
Delaney,
Yes.
Murphy.
Yes.
do we do that okay, Caitlin?
Great job.
All right. What's the next on the
Okay.
agenda?
Moving right along,
Right.
lost my spot here. I think it's time to adjourn the meeting. Oh, is there any more, I don't think we have another public comment.
We don't have a second.
No board member comments.
No
Oh,
board member
I
comments?
found it,
Yeah.
okay.
Knowing that the sign's gonna be new instead of the one that's there, trying to move it is very helpful.
Sure.
I pass it like 30 times a day and I don't notice it ever.
I
anymore.
notice it every time I do, and it does look a little different.
No, I mean, I've been
they,
there.
they try to keep it. But
I
it's
know
hard
it's
to keep
messed up,
stuff
but
like
I'm
that
saying
up,
is
you
like
know?
I don't even notice the sign anymore.
Yeah, it's-
Well, I think with
It's not
our
right.
ordinance, we're repairing the existing at the same time.
It'll open
we're
up the.
moving it.
Yeah, it just all it does is block the pretty view of that part of town. It really does. It's
Any other board comments?
I got nothing.
Any more
I'm
board
all set.
comments?
No, good.
Nope.
Okay. Now we get to adjourn.
Do.
Adjourn at,
No.
7:23.
There you go.
Now you can. 7:43.
What did you say the time was?
I agree. Second it.
oh,
He didn't say a time. That
Go ahead,
clock's wrong.
Cable.
That's what I'm saying. It's 6:24.
I got 7:24.
adjourn at 7:24. That was, yeah. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Bang your gavel when we're done. Okay.
We're out of here.
You ain't gonna do that. Thank you.